Phase 1. The hook. Visual. An extreme close-up of a single raindrop tracing a path down a pane of glass. Through it, the neon lights of a vast, futuristic cityscape are blurred and distorted. The sound is just the gentle patter of rain and a low, melancholic synth hum. Voiceover. There is a feeling, unique to our time. A kind of low-grade, persistent anxiety. It's the feeling that your own thoughts are no longer yours. You reach for an idea, a memory, a conviction, and it feels borrowed. A faint echo from a screen you saw yesterday. You sit in silence, and your mind is deafeningly loud, filled with the ghosts of 100 different conversations, headlines, and arguments that have nothing to do with you. This isn't just distraction. This is a condition. Let's call it cognitive fragmentation. And by the end of this session, you will not only understand the architecture of this mental prison, you will be given the key to unlock it. To reclaim the quiet, sovereign territory of your own mind. Visual. The camera slowly pulls back, revealing a person sitting alone in a high-rise apartment, looking out at the rain-slicked city. The room is minimalist, cast in cold blue light from the window. Phase 2. The problem voiceover. You know the feeling intimately. You open your machine to do one specific, important task. But a hyperlink beckons. A notification chimes. Your focus, once a laser, becomes a floodlight, diffuse and weak. An hour passes. You are left with a constellation of open tabs, a trail of digital breadcrumbs leading nowhere, and that hollow feeling in your gut, the feeling of time, and a piece of yourself, being stolen. You try to read a book, a physical artifact of paper and ink. But your brain has been rewired. Your eyes scan the page, searching for something to click. Your attention span, conditioned for the 15-second loop, rebels against the paragraph. The silence of the page feels like an accusation. Visual. A rapid-fire montage, edited with a dreamlike, disorienting quality. A finger endlessly scrolling a social media feed. A blur of faces on video calls. A blinking cursor on a blank document. A notification icon pulsing with red light. The shots are tight and claustrophobic. Voiceover. This is more than just a failure of discipline. It's a change in the very structure of your thought. Your mind, which should be a sanctuary, has become a public square. Every notification is a stranger tapping you on the shoulder. Every trending topic is a mob shouting in your ear. You have moments of genuine insight. A brilliant idea in the shower. A profound realization on a late-night walk. But when you try to hold onto it, to nurture it, it dissolves like smoke. It's drowned out by the incoming tide of information, the next urgent, meaningless signal. And here is the hidden cost, the part we rarely dare to articulate. It's not just your focus that you're losing. It's yourself. Our identity is a story we tell ourselves, built from a coherent narrative of memories, beliefs, and reflections. But what happens when that narrative is constantly interrupted? When your memories are replaced by memes? When your reflections are outsourced to the opinions of others? The fragmented mind cannot build a coherent self. Instead, you become a mosaic of other people's thoughts, a temporary collection of algorithmic suggestions. You begin to feel like an echo in your own skull, a ghost in your own machine. And the most terrifying part is the quiet whisper that asks, if you stripped away all the noise you consume, what, exactly, would be left? Phase 3. The solution voiceover. To understand how we escape this condition, we must look to a world where the fusion of mind and machine is not a metaphor, but a physical reality. We must look to the rain-drenched, neon-lit streets of a world conceived in 1995. We must talk about Ghost in the Shell. Visual. A series of slow, beautiful, iconic shots from the 1995 film, Ghost in the Shell. Major Kusanagi floating up from the depths. Her silhouette against the cityscape. The quiet, contemplative boat scene. Voiceover. In this world, most humans have a cyber brain, a prosthetic mind that interfaces directly with the global network. It offers unimaginable benefits, instant communication, flawless memory, access to all knowledge. But it also creates a terrifying vulnerability. A hacker can invade not just your computer, but your very consciousness. They can alter your memories, implant false experiences, and rewrite your personality. The protagonist, Major Motoko Kusanagi, lives this reality. She is almost entirely cybernetic. Her body, her shell, is a manufactured product. And yet, she possesses something irreducible, something that cannot be copied or erased. She calls it her ghost. The ghost is the core of the self. It's not the data. It's not the memories themselves, which can be faked. It's the consciousness that experiences those memories. It's the quiet, persistent sense of I that exists beneath the noise. This distinction is the key. The psychology of the cyber brain, which was science fiction, has become our lived reality. Our smartphones and our constant connectivity are our cyber brains. And to survive them, we must adopt Kusanagi's framework. We must learn to differentiate between the ghost and the shell. This gives us our first principle. Voiceover. Principle 1. The ghost and the shell. Your shell is everything external and transient. It's your physical body. It's your social media profiles, the carefully curated avatar you present to the world. It's the stream of information you consume, the news, the trends, the opinions. The shell is loud, demanding, and constantly changing. Your ghost, however, is your core consciousness. It is your capacity for reflection. It is the unique pattern of your curiosity. It is your deepest held values, the ones that persist even when they are unpopular. The ghost is quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. It must be listened for. Cognitive fragmentation occurs when we mistake the shell for the ghost. When we believe our online persona is our true self, or that the algorithm's recommendations are our own desires. We must constantly, deliberately, distinguish between the two. Visual. We see Major Kusanagi looking at her reflection in a puddle. The reflection is her, but distorted, rippling. It's a perfect visual metaphor for the ghost versus the shell. Voiceover. This leads to the second principle, a line Kusanagi herself uses to describe her world. Voiceover. Principle 2. The net is vast and infinite. We treat the internet like a tool, a library, or a shopping mall. This is a profound mistake. It is not a place you visit, it is an environment you inhabit. It is a vast, collective consciousness, and when you plug in, you are plugging your own mind directly into it. You would not allow a random stranger to walk into your home and rearrange the furniture. Yet we allow the network to do this to our minds every day. We must stop seeing it as a neutral utility and start seeing it for what it is. A psychic space with its own weather patterns, its own predators, and its own emergent intelligences. Navigating it requires the skill and caution of a deep-sea diver, keenly aware that the environment is powerful, and that pressure can crush you. Visual. An abstract, CGI shot of data streams flowing like a massive, endless river of light. A tiny, human-shaped silhouette stands on the bank, watching it flow by. Voiceover. This awareness of the network's power brings us to the final, and perhaps most critical, principle. A concept from the series Stand-Alone Complex. Voiceover. Principle 3. The Standalone Complex. The series presents a fascinating phenomenon. A situation where unrelated people, acting independently, without any central coordination, produce a perfectly synchronized, complex result. They all believe they are acting on their own original idea, but they are, in fact, nodes in a network, unconsciously executing a pattern that emerged from the sea of shared information. This is the perfect description of modern online culture. A trending outrage. A viral challenge. A political slogan. Millions of people suddenly share the same, original, thought, use the same new slang, or feel the same righteous anger, all at once. They feel like independent actors, but they are complex. To strengthen your ghost, you must become ruthlessly skeptical of your own, original, thoughts, especially when they feel urgent and are shared by millions. You must ask, is this thought a product of my own deep reflection, or is it a viral replica, a copy without an original, that has simply infected my consciousness? The ability to spot the complex in your own thinking is the beginning of true intellectual freedom. Let's use an analogy. Your mind is a ship. Your ghost is its captain. For most of human history, that ship sailed a small, familiar lake. The waters were calm, the destinations known. Now, our cyber brain has pushed the ship out into a vast, chaotic, and infinite ocean, the net. Cognitive fragmentation is what happens when the captain is drugged, asleep at the helm. The ship is just tossed about by the waves, the algorithms, the trends, the notifications. It has no direction. The solution is not to abandon the ocean. It is to wake the captain. To have them grip the wheel, study the stars, and steer with intention, even in the midst of the storm. Phase 4. The application voiceover. This philosophy is not merely an abstract comfort. It is a practical manual for mental survival. Re-establishing the integrity of your ghost, of your core self, requires deliberate, consistent practice. It is the work of a lifetime, but it begins with small, concrete steps. Here are 4 techniques, a protocol for the modern mind. Visual. The screen goes dark. A single, pulsing line of light appears, like an EKG. Text fades in. Protocol 1, the information fast. Voiceover. First, the information fast. This is not a digital detox. That term is too gentle. This is a fast. The goal is to deliberately starve your mind of external input, so you can finally hear its own, faint signal. Here is the exercise. Schedule 1 hour in your day. Just 1. During this hour, you will consume no produced information. No screens, no phone, no computer, no television. But also, no books, no podcasts, no music with lyrics. You can walk. You can sit by a window. You can draw, or simply be. At first, this silence will be excruciating. Your mind, addicted to stimulus, will scream. It will generate phantom notifications. It will replay fragments of songs and arguments. You will feel an intense, irrational boredom. Do not fight this. Observe it. This is the sound of the machine when it's not being fed. Let it run its course. After 20 or 30 minutes, something remarkable happens. The noise begins to subside. The withdrawal fades. And into that clearing, new things may arise. An old memory. A new solution to a problem you've been stuck on. A feeling you haven't had time to feel. This is the sound of your ghost. You are relearning its language. Start with 1 hour, once a week. Protect this time as if it were sacred. It is. Visual. We see the person from the apartment, now walking through a quiet, empty park in the early morning fog. They have no device, no headphones. They are simply walking and looking. Voiceover. Second, the ghost writing protocol. Journaling is a common practice, but we must adapt it for our age. Most journaling is about the shell, what you did, who you saw, how you felt. The ghost writing protocol is about interrogating the ghost. Visual. A close-up of a hand writing in a physical notebook with a pen. The handwriting is deliberate, thoughtful. The page is filled not with daily events, but with questions. Text fades in over the shot. Protocol 2, the ghost writing protocol. Voiceover. At the end of your day, open a notebook. And instead of writing a diary, answer these questions. Ask yourself, what one thought did I have today that felt truly mine, not an echo of something I read or heard? Ask yourself, what is a memory from my distant past that still shapes who I am today? Describe it in detail. This reinforces the long narrative of the self, beyond the short-term noise. And the most important question, a question Kusanagi would ask, if my entire digital footprint, my photos, my posts, my messages, was erased tonight, what essential part of me would still remain tomorrow? Write the answer. This practice is an active meditation on the difference between your essential self and your constructed persona. It forces you to find the signal that is uniquely you. Voiceover. Third, the signal versus noise audit. Your consciousness is shaped by what you feed it. You are, quite literally, what you pay attention to. For a pilot, a ship's captain, or a soldier, maintaining situational awareness is a matter of life and death. For us, maintaining cognitive awareness is a matter of self-preservation. Visual. A graphic interface appears on screen. On one side, a column labeled Signal with icons for books, long-form articles, deep conversations. On the other, a column labeled Noise with icons for clickbait, endless scrolling, online arguments. Text fades in. Protocol 3, the signal versus noise audit. Voiceover. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to perform an audit of your information diet. Mentally, or in your journal, categorize the major inputs you consumed. Place each one into one of two categories: signal or noise. Signal is information that nourishes you. It's complex, nuanced, and requires effort. A challenging book. A conversation that changed your mind. Art that moved you. Signal deepens your understanding and builds your ghost. Noise is information that consumes you. It's simple, addictive, and requires no effort. Mindless scrolling. Rage bait headlines. Gossipy clickbait. Digital junk food. Noise fragments your attention and feeds the shell. Be brutally honest in your assessment. The goal is not to achieve a diet of 100% signal. That's impossible. The goal is awareness. Simply by naming the noise, you rob it of its power. The act of auditing itself is an assertion of your ghost's authority over your shell's appetites. And tomorrow, you can make a conscious choice to seek out one more piece of signal, and to avoid one more source of noise. Voiceover. Fourth, practice solitary observation. Throughout Ghost in the Shell, we see the major in moments of quiet. Staring out at the city. Watching the reflections on the water. These are not moments of inactivity. They are moments of cognitive reintegration. She is reconnecting her consciousness to the physical, unmediated world. Visual. A sequence of slow, meditative shots. A person sitting on a bench in a busy subway station, just watching the trains and people go by. Their face is calm, observant. Another shot of them looking up at the intricate patterns of architecture against a gray sky. Text fades in. Protocol 4, solitary observation. Voiceover. This is your final exercise. Go somewhere, a park, a cafe, a city square. And for 15 minutes, just watch. No phone. No music. No book. Your only task is to observe the world as it is. Notice the way light falls on a building. The expressions on the faces of strangers. The complex dance of traffic. Don't try to interpret or judge. Just see. This practice does two things. First, it grounds your consciousness in physical reality, pulling it back from the disembodied chaos of the net. Second, it allows your own thoughts and feelings to arise in response to the world, rather than in response to a pre-packaged, algorithmic feed. You are re-establishing the link between your ghost and the real world. You are remembering that you are an embodied consciousness, not just a node in a network. These 4 protocols are not a quick fix. They are a form of mental hygiene, as essential in the 21st century as brushing your teeth. They are the training regimen for the captain of your ship. Phase 5. The proof voiceover. Does this framework actually work? We need only look at the source of our inspiration. Major Kusanagi is surrounded by beings who have been consumed by the machine. People whose ghosts have been hacked, erased, or have simply dissolved into the noise of the net. They are cautionary tales. Her survival, her coherence, is a direct result of her relentless self-examination. Her philosophical questioning is not a character quirk, it is her survival mechanism. Her moments of quiet contemplation, looking out over the silent, sprawling city, are the very moments she is performing her own signal audit, reconnecting with the core of her ghost after being fragmented by her dives into the infinite net. She is the proof that a strong, self-aware ghost can navigate the network without being destroyed by it. Her final, transcendent act in the film is not one of being consumed, but of choosing to evolve, the ultimate assertion of a sovereign self. Voiceover. This isn't just confined to fiction. The wisdom of this approach is echoed in our own world. Neuroscientists and cognitive psychologists have given us terms like attentional residue. The proven fact that even a quick glance at your inbox can degrade your cognitive performance for the next 10 to 20 minutes. Your mind is still processing the last input while trying to focus on the new one. This is the scientific measurement of cognitive fragmentation. Thinkers like Cal Newport have built entire philosophies around deep work, arguing that the ability to focus without distraction is becoming the rarest and most valuable skill in our economy. This isn't a productivity hack, it's a recognition that greatness, in any field, requires an unfragmented mind. The explosive rise of mindfulness and meditation in the West is not a coincidence. It is a mass-scale immune response. It is millions of individual ghosts realizing, simultaneously, that the shell has become too loud, and that they must practice the art of listening to the silence to find themselves again. The logic is undeniable. A mind that is never empty cannot synthesize. A mind that cannot synthesize cannot form deep thoughts. A mind without deep thoughts cannot build a stable identity. You are not rejecting technology. You are simply asserting your right to be the user, not the used. You are choosing to be the ghost, not the machine. Phase 6. The call to action voiceover. The world will not stop screaming for your attention. The machine is designed to fragment you. The responsibility to remain whole is yours and yours alone. So I leave you with a question. Not for me, but for you. Post your answer in the comments below, as a declaration of intent. What is the one digital noise you could cut out of your life, starting tomorrow, to make more room for your own thoughts? Be specific. Name it. Visual. The screen fades to the digital ghost channel endcard. It's a clean, minimalist design with the channel logo and social media handles. A melancholic synth track plays. Voiceover. If these are the questions that haunt you in the quiet hours, if you feel the struggle to remain human in a world of circuits and code, then join us. Subscribe to Digital Ghost, and let's explore the architecture of our own consciousness together. This journey into the self, the fragile line between our identity and the systems we inhabit, is a constant theme here. We explored it from a different angle in our video, the illusion of identity. Are you really you? If today's session resonated, that is your next dive. The link is on screen and in the description. Be well.